Hey guys, thanks for joining us again. My name is Candace Gutierrez and I am an animal care specialist here at the San Antonio Zoo in the Mammals 2 department. Today we're going to highlight one of our special ladies. It's her 60th birthday. It's Lucky, our Asian elephant. She's on her way out right now, and when she comes out, you're going to see her enjoying what we've got set up for her birthday, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. And all the things that it took to get it together. We do have a couple signs here in the front and in the back. We have a lot of food and decorations, so again, I'm going to talk about that. These signs were made much earlier than our COVID-19 scare, so don't you worry. We've been taking all the safety precautions ever since we had an outbreak, but these again were done prior to that. So that is why they're at our zoo, and that is why they're hanging up. Now, Lucky's making her way out right now, and she is, again, 60 years old today. She also is housed with two other female Asian elephants. We're going to give Lucky a little bit of alone birthday time to enjoy her celebration, and then we're going to bring out the other two girls. And a little bit later today, I'm also going to be talking about all three of our girls, so please remember to join us then also. So what you see here is all edible decorations for Lucky. There's no glue. Things are held with peanut butter and frosting, some delicious treats for Lucky. We have a plethora of fruits and vegetables, and again, edible paper. The paint that you see is non-toxic, again, edible. Our different mammals departments came together to make the decorations, make the signs, paint, even put together our spread for Lucky. So Lucky's cake was made by the Nutrition Center. It is on one of the logs, and it's got some pineapple tops. Lucky's tire cake was made by our driver, Greg, and so he stacked the tires for her. And then Mammals 1 and Mammals 2 came together for the decorations. Now, this type of enrichment is very foreign to Lucky, so she's taking her time. She's kind of scoping out what is out there. Lots of bright colors she hasn't seen right now, and each time these girls come out, we set up the yard different. So we don't always have a bunch of colorful presents for her, but they always have different enrichments. Their whole yard we use to put their chow in, put their browse in, their fruits and veggies. So every day's a little bit different, and today's really different for Lucky. So she's, like I said, taking her time, making sure nothing's gonna jump out at her. Yes.
Can you tell us about the significance of her 60th birthday?
Yes. So on average, Asian elephants live till about 48 years old. Now in human care, animals get a lot more specialized care. For instance, we do footwork and body checks on our girls daily. We also grind our hay for our girls as they lose their teeth. Elephants don't have an infinite number of teeth, so once they wear down, it's hard for them to chew. All of Lucky's big items that she can't crush are cut up because, again, she cannot chew like a younger elephant. So the significance of Lucky being 60 years old is very big. It's a tribute to the care that they get with our staff. Now, their wild counterparts do not live as long because, again, their teeth wear down, their eyesight changes, even their hearing, and their skin is sensitive. So they'll get a wound on their skin and it doesn't get treated. But here we can treat it. Every ailment that she has, or every discomfort that she has, or any of our girls, any of our animals for that matter, can get treated. So right now, my coworkers are trying to coax Lucky outside. I think our bows are scaring her a little bit, but that's the risk of enrichment. Sometimes it's scary, and it takes a couple minutes for her to, want to explore it.
I do have a couple questions for you while we wait.
Sure.
Jessica would like to know how many teeth elephants have.
So elephants have, I call them brick teeth, because they look like a large brick, and they have one on the bottom left and right, so that's 2, and then one on the top left and right, so that's 4. But they actually go through 6 sets of teeth in their lifetime. As it wears down, the teeth push it forward, and then they lose that tooth that was worn down. And Lucky is on the last set of her teeth. I may have mentioned that a little bit. So we do, like I said, chop up her things for her. We do grind her hay for her, so she doesn't have to do as much chewing. Sure, yes. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the signs that were made. We got these signs donated again before we've had this COVID outbreak, but San Antonio Parks and Recreation came together with the Department of Human Services, and we have a senior center and some young kiddos that actually made these signs together. We do have a video up on our Facebook, or it was put up earlier today, that you can actually watch. I think they're being made together. So it's a really neat video. Check that out also while we wait for Lucky. So a lot of people came together to celebrate Lucky, and we're really thankful for that. It's a lot of love from our community, and right now we could really use that. So we really appreciate you guys making these signs for her. Oh, Lucky. So again, Lucky is a little unsure about her birthday celebration. She sees things a little bit different than us, and animals are on their own schedule. So Lucky doesn't know that we went live at 11, and right now she's relying on her trainers to let her know it's safe. So once she's got enough comfort, she will come out. Oh, we didn't put it in. So a little, just to give you an idea of how much food is actually out there right now, we got, I think, 8 cases of produce this morning on top of what she'll get with her hay. So we have watermelon, we have kale, we have 2 different types of lettuce, we have apples, oranges, lemons, carrots, 2 different types of potatoes, cantaloupe, and as well as several different types of chow. So elephants can eat several different types of chow, like I just mentioned, and Lucky does have her favorites. Lucky likes the sweet chow. So we do a lot of different primate chow that is a little bit sweeter, and Lucky's favorite is primate maintenance. So the larger chow on the ground is some primate maintenance. There's some elephant chow mixed in there because she does need that too. And then her cake was made with different types of monkey chow, several different. They come in cinnamon and banana and then some other sweet flavors. And maybe she's coming, maybe she's not. So a lot of different things went into her cake.
Can you tell us a little bit about the exhibit and some other enrichment items that people can see out here?
Sure. So our tires are stacked for her birthday cake right now, but usually we have, she and the other 2 will probably knock them down as they come out, but we usually have the tires moved about the exhibit, and what we do is have Lucky or the other 2 push or pull the tires. Sometimes we put food inside them, so they have to flip the tires. That helps keep them very busy and keeps their muscles moving and keeps them strong. We have other tires on exhibit for other different things. There's a tire on a chain, and they actually move it all day long, and usually they rub their heads or their booties on that chain and move the tire with their head or their booty, which is silly and fun. We also have, under their umbrella, some hanging feeders. Different types of things can go inside of them for them to reach in and pull out. We've done paper mache on the outside of them, and the elephants love paper mache, so that's always a really big crowd pleaser. We also put browse, weave them in through the tires, and the elephants have to either break it or maneuver it to get it out. And sometimes they just love to have the tires on their back. They're really silly about it. They're just really playful girls. We have large logs in the yard everywhere. These girls actually like to move them around and rub all over them. Sometimes they use their heads to push them. Sometimes they use their trunks. Sometimes they use their feet. And the ones that kind of look like roots, we can actually hide food in them. And the elephants sometimes throw the roots and knock their food out of. So they're really strong, and it's really fun to see them get creative to get their food. We also have automatic feeders at 3 or 4 different points in our yard. And those are to be variety feeders. They go off throughout the day. We have to fill them and make sure they're turned on. But that gives them, they don't know when that's coming. So that gives them, the element of surprise when they're going to get their chow. So when they see us coming, they know they're going to get food. But this way, this drops food for them throughout the day. So we really rely on those automatic feeders, but the girls are pretty smart, so they've learned to blow air in the feeders, and sometimes it drops food for them, so little smart girls.
Candace, what's your favorite part about working with the elephants?
I have a lot of favorite parts. I don't know that I could choose one, so I'm going to say a few of them. I love the relationship you have with each elephant. Each elephant's very unique, and just like their keepers, we all have very different personalities, and so do our elephants. The relationship I have with Lucky is all about food. But the relationship Lucky has with our senior keeper Mike is all about attention. So it's really neat to see the girls have different interactions with all of us. And honestly, the way their skin feels, it's amazing. And it's being next to them, they're just so big and so beautiful. And watching them be silly. I love watching them play. Even though these are geriatric elephants, they're older girls, they are very silly and very playful.
I would like to know how you tell them apart.
Okay.
I'm going to show this sign if you want to talk about it too.
So our girls look very different to me, just like me and somebody else would look different to, anyone looking at us. But so right here, this is Karen, and she's got very large ear flaps, meaning the top of her ear folded over. She has the largest of them. And Nicole has the second largest of them, and Lucky barely has any. Now, Nicole is shaped like a potato. She's a little bit plump, which I think she's just beautiful. But so she looks very different than Karen. Karen actually looks a little slender compared to Nicole, and very tall in my opinion. And I just think she's got a very unique face. Each one of them have a very unique face. And Lucky has different indentations than Karen does, so that's how I tell them apart. Now, when they turn their booties to us, Nicole has a crimp in her tail, so she's very easy to tell. That's her. And Karen always is shifting her weight from one to the other, almost like she's kind of dancing. And again, her body just looks so different than the other two. So that's how I tell them apart.
Are Asian elephants endangered?
Yes, they are. I don't have the numbers with me right now, but most programs that have male and female are part of Species Survival Plan, which is an endeavor to continue on with good genetics and breeding for this species. We are only house females, and we specialize in geriatrics, so we aren't part of that, but I think it's just as important because our old girls need specific care, and we have that for them. Oh, Lucky.
How tall are the elephants you have here?
Wow. Goodness. I think they're 12 to 15 feet because they're different sizes. I think Nicole's the shortest, but I believe they're 12 to 15 feet. Lucky is at 7,000 pounds or right above. Karen is just under Lucky in weight, And then Nicole is over 8,000 pounds. Again, she's our little plump potato. So depending on their body, their makeup of their body and their genes and stuff, elephants, even the same species of elephants, are shaped a little bit different, and some are bigger than others. So some of our girls are taller, some of our girls are leaner, and some of them are potatoes.
I'd like to know how long you've been working with elephants.
I have been working with elephants since 2013. Not these specific girls, but when I first met and started working with elephants, 2013. Lucky's staff is made up of several people that have worked 10 or more years with Lucky herself. So we've got a lot of elephant experience on our team. So what we're doing is changing the way we're going to shift her outside to give her, again, a little bit more options and a little bit more comfort. So we're opening up a smaller area that feeds into a bigger area, so she can kind of just kind of peek out before she is actually outside. Sometimes that makes Lucky feel a little bit better. So again, we think this is really fun, but Lucky's not sure about it, Once she gets out here and sees how much delicious food is, she's going to be real sure. But in the meantime, we need to make sure she's comfortable. So that's what we're trying to do.
Nicole would like to know what all of our viewers watching can do to help elephants out in the wild.
So there are several international elephant funds. The one I know specifically is International Elephant Fund. But I would Google the preserve in Fredericksburg, the Elephant Preserve in Fredericksburg. They have a lot of partnerships that I believe in, and they work really hard trying to eliminate and do research on a virus that elephants get when they're young that is nearly all the time fatal. And so the more research that we have on that, the more our youngsters can thrive. And unfortunately, what we can do for animals is try to make less of a footprint ourselves. But there are a lot of different ways you can do that. But for our elephants in the wild, look up International Elephant Fund. Okay, take 2 on Lucky coming out. We'll see what she does this time.
While we wait, Carrie would like to know if they act different when the weather changes.
They do. One of them really likes rain. Actually, they all really like rain, but they don't love the cold. Oh, there's Lucky. So when it rains, they love to play in the puddles and in the mud, and they douse themselves with mud. Happy birthday, Lucky! So remember what I said about the smaller area? She's checking that out first. That's why we changed how we did things, because it's a little more comfortable for her. You're a good girl, Luck. So there goes her birthday sign, but like I said, everything's edible, so she's going to investigate it first and probably eat it later. Yeah, we got to touch everything first. So we have put different food items in some of the boxes, so she may or may not play with the boxes for a while. We wanted to give her all kinds of fun stuff. So for those of you who think, well, this is a lot of food, but for those of you who think, wow, seems like a lot, do you think the girls will actually eat it? These guys can actually eat um, a bale and a half of hay per day, plus that's each elephant. A bale and a half per elephant, plus 5 to 6 pounds of chow and produce per elephant. And we've got 3 girls here. And we haven't put her hay out yet, so Lucky could eat all this by herself if she wanted to. With all this delicious food, and she wants to eat her box. But like I said, animals didn't get our memos, so she's gonna do what she wants to do. I think we're gonna bring out our other girls to join Lucky now. Yep. So Karen and Nicole are going to come out and enjoy Lucky's birthday items also. And that may give Lucky a little bit more comfort also to come forward. Strength in numbers.
Tell us about some of the decorations that are on those tires.
Yes. So we use peanut butter and frosting to stick fruits and veggies and chow and her paper decorations. And it worked really good for some of them. And some of them were a little too heavy, so they fell off. But our girls will still eat them up. But again, everything has to be edible. So these girls like peanut butter and they do like frosting. So we use that as an adhesive. And we also used it on the sign to keep it pinned down a little bit because the wind was blowing it. So yeah, that's what we use on the tire and also on the log and like I said on the sign. So lots of peanut butter and frosting too. So you're going to see Nicole joining us first, and then Karen will be right behind her. And we talked about the differences before. You see how Karen's ears are, the flap on her ears folds over a lot more than the other two's. And Nicole's body shape is a lot different than Karen's, and that's another way to tell them apart. Some of them have a little more pink than the others on their nose, and so she's got actually rosy cheeks, Nicole does. So when you see rosy cheeks, it's usually Nicole. So lots of different ways that us keepers tell them apart.
Nicole would like to know what inspired you to become an animal care specialist.
Oh, wow. I don't think there was a day that I didn't want this. I knew I wanted to work with animals since I was really young. And one day I decided had to make that happen. So I actually went to a specific school for it. Once I had the money saved up and just made it happen. But there was never a day that I didn't know this is what I wanted. So animals inspired me. Is that delicious, Karen? can't believe the birthday girl isn't going to come and open her presents. So you're going to hear a lot of different sounds from these girls. Nicole is trunk thumping. So she just kind of thumps her trunk on the ground, and that's because the squirrel is trying to steal her snack. So she's telling the squirrel she doesn't like it. And you see Lucky and Karen gather around her, and you might hear some squeaks. That's Karen. They like to squeak, they like to grumble, they like to growl, they like to trumpet. So all kinds of noises come from these animals, and I have my favorite noise comes from Nicole usually, and it sounds a bit like a dinosaur growling. But those are just all different means of communication that we can hear. Sorry. There was one of them, the kazoo. No, just kidding. They also communicate with sounds that we actually can't hear. They're a lower register than humans can hear. Sometimes you can feel the ground a little bit, and you know they're talking about you. No, I'm just kidding.
Can you point out which elephant is who?
Yeah. So Karen is closest to us. Lucky's in the middle. And there's Nicole on the end with the kink in her tail. And this is classic them to turn their booties to us. So that is the dinosaur noise I told you about. They're very excited. They're not really sure why everyone's watching them. They don't really realize it's Lucky's birthday. No one told them, I guess. But this is just a lot of excitement noises. And they might be planning on how they're going to come over and eat all this food. I don't know. So Nicole is right now trying to eat hay off of Lucky's back, but there wasn't much of it, so hopefully she'll come over here. So Karen, I think, is probably our most talkative one. She's the one you keep hearing squeak and squeal. And then next is probably Nicole. So Lucky's a little more quiet than they are, but when they're all excited, all of them make all kinds of noises.
How can you tell the difference between Asian elephants and African elephants?
So there's a couple differences. African elephants have much larger ears. They're basically the same size as the side of their head, so much larger. And the shape of them are a little bit different. The forehead on these girls, it looks like two bulbs, at least at the top. And African elephants don't really have that. They have a very differently shaped head. African elephants have one less toe than Asian elephants. So their feet also look different. Another interesting fact that you may not see is their teeth look different. Asian elephants, like we have, I mentioned earlier, they have large teeth, almost like a large brick, and they have ridges in it that are parallel to each other, so grooves in it that are parallel. And African elephants actually have a diamond-shaped pattern in their teeth because they eat different foods coming from Africa and Asia. There's just different variety of what they're eating, so their teeth are shaped a little different.
So if he is turning 60 today, how old are the other girls?
Let me get specific birthday. How old are the other two? So our other two elephants' ages are 51 and 53. So Nicole is our youngest at 51, and here they come. So being the age that these girls are, they're all considered geriatric. So we do have this the same program basically to make sure that their whole body gets checked from tip to tail every day. So something that's funny about these girls is that every elephant has their own technique of, I guess, eating or taking apart something. Depending on the elephant, some of them like to put the whole watermelon in their mouth, crunch it, and then hold the pieces in their trunk and put each piece in their mouth. Others like to just step on it and smash it and then pick the pieces up off the ground. And then some of them will try and actually smash it with their trunk and then, take the different pieces. So it's just funny. Each elephant has their technique of eating and taking things apart. Nicole usually likes to put things on her head and eat it later. It's really silly. And, yeah. I like her style. When we have different enrichment items out there, sometimes she's wearing Christmas trees on her head, sometimes she's wearing different browse items on her head. She may even surprise us and put a present box on her head. Who knows with Nicole?
Barbara would like to know if you can tell their ages by looking at them.
I mean, you can definitely tell an older animal, generally, their muscle mass changes. Just like in people, So, for instance, a younger elephant might be a little plumper in the cheeks or have a little bit more muscle mass in the neck or near the ears. And our older girls may have a little bit less, so almost a little bit more divots or however you'd like to say that. So there are some signs, and again, their teeth are one. Sometimes their eyes are one. That's why we take a lot of care in checking every day their eyes and ears and teeth. But yeah, those are some of the signs you can tell. But for the most part, they just look like elephants.
Do you know if elephants can see in color?
I don't know the spectrum of what they can see, but they do have the ability to make out different things. I don't know if that's based on their color, because they have a favorite food item. Each of them like different things, so I don't know if that's just based on smell or discerning between different colors and things like that. So I don't know their exact spectrum of color. Sorry, guys. So for those of you who just joined us, our three girls are celebrating Lucky's 60th birthday. We do have all three of them out right now, and they have access to the whole yard and also their corral and one part of holdings in case they get a little shy and need to go back home. So Lucky has chosen to be in the corral, and she is eating most of her paper enrichment. She really enjoys paper. And Nicole and Karen have ventured out to the front to investigate some of the food items that we've put out for her. Again, this is Lucky's 60th birthday party. However, Lucky has chosen to be in the corral right now and eat all of her paper. And Karen and Nicole are very happy to help celebrate, so they're going to eat her other items for her. So what we have right in front of us is a tire tower cake that our maintenance department put up for us, and we put vegetables, fruits, and edible paper enrichment items on it, and it's stuck to it with peanut butter and frosting, or peanut butter and marshmallow fluff. And the paint on all the boxes, I'm sorry for those of you who already heard this, I'm just going to say it one more time, that way everyone feels comfortable. But the paint on the boxes is non-toxic, and our animals are able to eat it. It's very safe. Karen is actually reaching for the cake that our nutrition center made Lucky. It is out of several different types of monkey chow, because these girls actually really like monkey chow. It comes in a lot of different flavors, like cinnamon and banana and, browser biscuits, which have a very sweet taste, but I don't know its specific flavor, because I didn't taste it actually. But these girls actually really like it, so they actually made the cake out of all kinds of different monkey chow. And there's Nicole gonna push over the cake, and she's actually wearing one of Lucky's bows right now. Maybe she thinks she's the birthday girl. And again, this celebration is for all of our girls, but we do want to make sure that everyone knows that our special birthday girl turned 60 today. Great job, Nicole. Great job. Now, some of those tires weigh 1,000 pounds. Some of them are less than 1,000 pounds, but you saw with great ease that she just bumped it and pushed it over. It would take 10 of us to flip one of those. And so these girls are just amazing animals. Amazing. Oh, that bow. So hopefully Lucky will finish eating all of her paper enrichment and come join the party. But like I said, she's got the choice to go where she wants to. And it's her birthday, and she can be shy if she wants to. So here she comes. Took her a little longer to be sure about things, but once she saw the other two getting all those delicious treats, I'm sure that tempted her to come over. And again, she's going for the paper products. So as you can see, it took only a couple minutes for 3 elephants to eat most of our party favors. These girls, I mentioned it earlier, but maybe there's newcomers, so I'm going to, tell you a little bit more. Oh, this girl. These girls can eat 1.5 bales each a day of hay, and also 5 to 6 pounds of chow, and also produce. So this little treat of theirs is not extravagant amounts of food for 3 elephants. These are big girls and they need a big diet. So Nicole, who is closest to us right now, is about 8,000 pounds. Lucky, the 6-year-old birthday girl, who is if we're facing them furthest to the left, she is about 7,000 pounds. And then Karen, who is right in the middle of the two elephants we can't really see right now, she weighs a little bit less than Lucky. You find that watermelon? There it is. Yeah, there it is. So let's see her technique of eating a watermelon. She's going to go for breaking it in her mouth. Good technique. So I mentioned a little bit earlier, each of our girls and every elephant has its own technique of either eating or tearing apart their stuff. Some elephants go for the stomp and smash, some elephants go for the bite and crush, and others just throw it around until it breaks. You never know. But everyone has their finely tuned system. Delicious.
Did it take you all to prepare and set up for this birthday party?
Much longer than it took them to tear it apart, I'll tell you that. I think we started setting up at 9:30, but we have been preparing for weeks. Just making sure that we had things painted, and again, it's with the non-toxic paint, so it dries slowly and things like that. But weeks of prep. But setting up the yard, it was about 9:30. And we actually had a lot of different departments come together to make this little special celebration for Lucky. Again, I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to mention it again. We want to just thank everyone who did their part to celebrate Lucky and our girls today, Mammals 1 and Mammals 2. With decorating Lucky's sign and all her decorations and putting them up in the yard. And we also had, let me look at it real quick, San Antonio Parks and Recreation as well as Department of Human Services come together to make some really cool signs for us. Now these were done by a senior center and some young kiddos, and this was pre-COVID-19, so don't you worry guys, they were not in the same space once it went into effect that we needed to be apart. This was months ago or a month ago, I don't know the exact date, but this was long before we had to do our little separation. So again, a senior center and some young kids came together to make all these different notes for Lucky and all these different decorations for Lucky. And it has a little bit of adhesive, so that's why the girls can't have it, but we wanted to make sure everyone saw it, so they're up here. Yeah. Nicole's got a little bit of peanut butter on her face. We used peanut butter and marshmallow fluff to make sure all the little pieces would stick to her tire cake and part of her sign and part of her decorations. We used that as, I'm going to use air quotes, as glue to put things and have them stay in place. So Lucky has taken her favorite birthday item to snack on at the other part of the exhibit. There are a couple people here and the signs hanging that she's not sure about, and she knows that we do hide things all over the exhibit for her to explore, so that's what she's doing right now. But she did take her favorite little item for a snack to go. But don't worry, because Nicole and Karen are going to just enjoy all the birthday items for her. So we are still answering questions. If you guys have any, go ahead and let me know. Otherwise, I'll just keep talking about our girls.
How many times per day do they get fed when they're not getting special treats?
I mean, at least 5 times throughout the day. It depends on how many training sessions we have, because those are also separate feeding times, but we put food out, scatter feed, 4 to 5 times a day, plus when we have to move them to clean the yard or move them to clean their stall, and move them for training purposes. So at least 5 times a day. Most of our day is actually feeding and interacting with our girls. And as you can imagine, it takes a lot of food, so all day long these girls eat.
Each elephant's favorite item?
So it looks like Karen was really loving the chow. The chow is a mix of different monkey chows. They have a sweet flavor. There's some elephant chow, and sometimes they get omnivore chow. I thought I saw some of that. We have a lot of stuff going on, but she looks like she's going for the chow. So I think that's Karen's favorite part. And honestly, Nicole is just loving all of it. I don't see anything she doesn't love. So Nicole is just enjoying every little part of this birthday party. And Lucky seems to enjoy the paper the most. Every item that she picked up was made of paper. So everyone's got a different taste here. And it looks like Nicole has some peanut butter on her, so she's enjoying some peanut butter items also.
Do they enjoy back scratches?
They enjoy all scratches. Nicole likes her forehead and in between her eyes. Lucky likes all over scratched, and honestly, they all like their booties scratched. So right above their tail and either side of their tail, they like scratches. And they enjoy, they don't scratch each other, but they kind of lean in on each other sometimes. So they enjoy that too. It's kind of like being scratched. Karen likes to press her head on a lot of things, so you'll see her do that, or press her trunk on a lot of things. She looks really fun when she does that. That's her kazoo noise. That's what I call it.
Candace, you got a shout out from Annalise. She says, hi, great job talking about the girls.
Hi, Anna. Annalise is also one of my coworkers who works with these girls and the animals in Mammals too. We are a little bit sad that our whole team can't be together today, but right now, due to COVID, we are a little bit separated. But we do our best to make sure that our animals get the same quality of care no matter what's going on in our world. So that's why we made sure to celebrate Lucky's birthday. We make sure that their lives are as untouched as possible. We do have some struggles here at the zoo, so if you have time, please look at our website to see how you could help keep our animals' lives as normal as possible, because we would just do anything for them. So if you do have a moment to see how you can help out our zoo, please do so. You can do it at our website or our Facebook. I believe there's many different places you can see how you can help out. But yeah, even though our staff is a little bit separated right now, we still do everything in our power to keep our girls' lives as normal as possible. Not only our girls, but all of our animals here. Oh, Karen. Actually, they're all pretty silly, but Karen makes really funny noises. I call her Karen Kazoo because she's always squeaking and squawking. She actually puts her trunk under her foot and then blows out, and she'll change the sound on it. Yeah. They're all pretty silly, but I think the silliest noises come from Karen, so.
Do you know how much water they can drink in a day?
I think up to 50 gallons, 50 to 60 gallons. At one time, they can drink, like hold in their trunk, I think 5 gallons. But elephants tend to try and drink that all at one time because naturally you don't really know where your next drink is going to come from. So it's pretty innate, born into an animal, what behaviors will keep you healthy and safe. So generally the girls try to take really, really big drinks. So like 20 to 25 gallons at a time. But in their trunk, they can usually hold about 5 gallons. So Lucky's over here enjoying her little birthday watermelon. And it looks like Lucky may have used the Step and Smash version of breaking open a watermelon. And earlier I saw Nicole crunch it with her teeth. So again, each girl is different, and I just think it's so funny. Yep, Karen is still picking out the chow. So right now the chow is still Karen's favorite. And Lucky enjoyed most of the paper products. And now she's eating some watermelon, and Nicole is just been into everything. So for those of you who remember about how to tell our girls apart, Karen is facing us by the tires, and those really big folds on the top of her ears are how most people tell Karen apart. It's more than an inch folded over even at the smallest part. And Nicole is a little bit rounder or plumper, and she has a little less of an ear fold. And then Lucky barely has any ear folds on her ears. And that's how you can tell their faces apart. Just at first glance or whatever. So some questions that I answered earlier, I'm going to just reiterate some of them because I just think it's really important. Lucky being 60 years old is a great testament to the care that these girls get. The average lifespan is 48 for an Asian elephant, but when you have a facility that makes sure that their health is cared for the entirety of their life, these animals live a lot longer. So us having 3 geriatric girls in good health, it's just a testament to what people can do for these girls. And I mentioned earlier that Lucky is on the last set of her teeth. They have 6 sets of teeth in their lifetime. And with Lucky being on the last set of it, we do make sure things are not finely chopped, but smaller pieces for Lucky. And her hay is ground for her, so there's less chewing. because she does still have to have smaller pieces to digest it properly and get the nutrition out of it. And that is just one of the measures that we take to make sure our girls are being taken care of in the golden years of their lives.
Somebody asked about the green coloration on their skin, but can you explain what that is?
Oh, that's their hay. So we feed them 3 to 4 different types of hay. Again, Lucky's is ground up, so her alfalfa is very green hay, and finally, when it's ground up a little bit, they actually throw it on their backs. Elephants love to do that. So what you're seeing there is the remnants of alfalfa hay on Lucky's back. You can see some hay on Nicole's back and probably on Karen's back also. Why it's just a little bit of green on her is because Nicole ate the larger pieces off. That's just Nicole's job in life. So what's left is just little green speckles.
Who is the matriarch in this group?
Nicole. So, their hierarchy in the animal world. Nicole is kind of the boss, but she actually just keeps the peace. She always wants to eat first because she's the boss, and she just makes sure the other 2 elephants are comfortable and spacing and things like that, things that we don't think about as human beings. Elephants have to think about that because they mean things in elephant social structure. So Nicole makes sure everyone eats in the order they need to, and no one's fighting, and no one's eating up everybody else's food.
Ashley's daughter would like to know if you know any elephant jokes. I've got one.
Okay.
You might have to bring your mic closer, though.
Okay.
All right, Ashley, this one's for your daughter. Why do you never see elephants hiding in trees? Because they're really good at it.
That one's for you guys. All right, guys, I think we are going to let our girls enjoy the rest of Lucky's birthday spread and go about the day. But we do want to remind you that we're going to be talking about these girls a little bit later today, 3 o'clock, diving into a little bit more about our elephants and their care. So please join us at 3. And again, I wanted to thank everyone who gave a shout out to Lucky, or helped us make signs, helped us decorate, and just sends their love. It means a lot to us. And one more time, I'm just going to say that we would appreciate any help that you guys can give. Just look at our website or even the Facebook. These times are hard for all of us. I know that. We just, any little bit helps. And thank you for celebrating Lucky's 60th birthday with us, and we'll see you again at 3 o'clock.